Hey, CS artists, my name's Claudia, and I'm a senior now at a specialized high school for the arts. Welcome to my Spotlight series. This podcast series aims to encourage my peers to pursue their desired fine or performing art beyond high school. So we'll be covering writing, film, acting, instrumental music, dance, musical theater, vocal arts, and production and design. So today's podcast will focus on careers in the realm of production and design. So please welcome our first guest, Pablo Souki.
Hello.
Pablo Souki is a senior lecturer at the University of Miami Department of Theater Arts, where he teaches technical production courses for theater and is the production manager for the department and the Jerry Herman Ring Theater. He also freelances as a production manager and technical director with local South Florida productions. Pablo grew up in Caracas, Venezuela, where he worked in educational theater as a production supervisor for Grupo Teatral en Escena and was a founding member of the KST Project Theater Company. He attended the Universidad Simón Bolívar in Caracas, where he received a degree in electronics engineering, and the Yale School of Drama, where he got an MFA in technical design and production. So why don't you tell me a little bit about your career now teaching?
My career now, I'm sorry? Is that
Yes, your career
okay.
now.
Yes. Right now, I am the production manager here at the University of Miami in sunny South Florida. I have been here for the last 13 years, and I work essentially on all our productions in the Department of Theater Arts. We have a couple of spaces, the Jerry Herman Ring Theater, which you mentioned, and we have a smaller black box. We do 8 productions a year, plus a number of other smaller productions. So I supervise all of the technical planning for those 2 venues in terms of coordinating budgets, coordinating calendars. I'm not involved in the technical design of the elements anymore at this point, but I coordinate the staff who are involved in that. I was the technical director for the Jerry Herman Ring Theater a few years ago, which means I actually did the technical design of all the scenery for the shows that go in there. And while I do that, I also teach classes in stagecraft and in technical production. I mentor some of our production students. I work very closely with our design students, with our technical students, with our stage management students. And I also do some freelancing around Miami. Most of my work these days is with a company that's called Miami New Drama at the Colony Theater in Miami Beach. And I do production management and technical direction for them on a regular basis.
So it sounds like, at least for me, in production and design, it's very busy and it's very detail oriented. So I was wondering, how did you sort of get into that at first?
So yes, busy definitely, and detail oriented certainly. How did I get into this? Well, I was a senior in high school, having never done theater. Well, not never done theater. Having been in theater classes, I guess the last time would have been when I was in preschool. And my parents decided that would be a great thing for me to do because I was a shy kid, et cetera, et cetera. I refused to perform. So that was the end of theater for me for a while. And then when I was a senior in high school, some folks who had graduated from that high school decided to sort of go back and open a theater club at the school. And I said, why not? But I will not be on stage. I refuse to be on stage. I will do anything you want except be on stage. And so at first I started working on sound and found myself a couple of years after that being in charge of that company. Well, we called it a company in Spanish. It was more like a club, what you would call here a club. And that sort of became the thing that I really liked doing while I was in college. So I was getting my engineering degree because I like math. I love math. I love physics. It was a fantastic thing. It was a great opportunity. I got into a great school. But all the time I was sort of working on the side on this theater thing to the point where eventually I was the founder of a professional theater company in town, always dealing with the technical side, always dealing with the details of how do we do this? How are we going to do this? How do we accomplish this thing? How do we make sure everything is ready? And it's sort of, I mean, it became a passion, the way, the arts are a passion for all of us who work in the arts, of making sure all these weird things that we had to do for these shows could happen on time. So.
And breaking into technical theater more professionally, I guess, did you find it difficult, or do you have any advice for the production and design students at my school?
Do I have? Yes, okay, so yes, I found it difficult, and yes, I have advice. And your classmates right now are your first professional network. They are your LinkedIn, right? They are the people who in 10 years, some of them might not be in the arts anymore, but some of them will be. And making sure that you keep those connections is a crucial thing in the arts. Because someone's tiny project that they're working on now might be, Hamilton in 10 years. And if you're connected to that person and they know that you're good at production design or technical production or costume design or whatever the case might be, you might be the person they contact. So I'm not saying that this is more important than talent and or hard work. If you are bad at what you do, it doesn't matter if you're very good friends with somebody, they're not going to want you on their project. But if you work hard, if you are good at what you do, and if you keep those contacts, that's sort of the three things. And I cannot stress enough the fact that everyone you work with in the arts is a potential contact, is a potential opportunity in the future. It's
I like how you bring that
to burn a bridge.
Oh, yeah. But I do like how you bring that up, because I think a lot of students are maybe not sure if they want to pursue it and they're almost graduating. So I do like the idea of continuing to work on your craft and excel in it, because maybe later in the future, someone will reach out to you instead of you looking for different projects to work on. So I do like that, to remain in contact with people you've already been connected with in case for future opportunities.
Yeah. And we, as theater artists, we have this brilliant thing, which is that every project is different. Every project involves new people, and your connections just keep growing on a regular basis just by the nature of what we do. So you have to make sure you keep those connections. You have to make sure that people realize that you're good and that you would be an asset for their next project.
So going into more of what you did teaching at University of Miami, can you sort of tell me what the structure was like there, or maybe what your classes sort of entailed?
Sure. So I teach several classes at the university, and the one I teach the most often is our Introduction to Stagecraft class. So that's a class that not all our theater majors have to take, but most of them take it. And this is a flat. This is how you make a flat. This is a platform. This is how you make a platform kind of class. It's one of those classes where, half the people in the room are actors, and some of them don't think they should learn what a 2x4 is, because how does that affect acting? And that affects acting in the same way that, the technician has to take the acting class. The more well-rounded we all are as theater artists, the more we know about all the other disciplines within theater, the better we all are at what we're going to do. And then I also supervise our running crews for our productions. So everyone who works backstage in one of our shows, I supervise that class. And every once in a while, I teach a class on the history of theater architecture, which is, the evolution of theater buildings, everything from, before the Greeks all the way to, the flexible spaces of today and that kind of thing.
So it sounds like you teach classes that are sort of ranging in that field. So under courses, of technical theater, is there a specific foundation that admitted students should usually have?
Admitted students who are coming into the program,
Mm-hmm.
the deal breaker with admissions, with students who are coming into our programs, and I should say we have a BA program in theater and we have a BFA program in theater. So the specific requirements for those two programs are a little different. The deal breaker for both, though, at least on the technical side of things, for us who sit there and look at applicants, is passion for this. I mean, if you've been working hanging lights, focusing lights, building sets for your entire high school career, and you have the experience, that's fantastic. That puts you a couple of steps ahead over other people who have not had that experience. But particularly here, we assume that you're coming here to learn and that you're starting from the ground level. We do not have graduate programs. All of our students are undergrads. So everyone who's coming in here as a production student will get their hands dirty, will get the hands-on experience, will leave here having gone through our shops in in their preferred discipline. But if they are not coming in with the passion and the drive and the willingness to get their hands dirty and to do that work and to take the classes and do the work at the same time, that's the deal breaker for us. To answer the question of whether there's a bunch of check boxes that you have to check in order to, if you haven't been in drawing class for 5 years, then you can't be a design student. No, we don't look at it that way.
And it does sound like, going into collegiate program, of course, it's going to be, it's going to require hard effort to prepare you for the future. So does the University of Miami provide any opportunities for their students for future reference?
For opportunities for their students, for our students here while they're here to work? Oh, absolutely. So all of our production students, on their first year, they get assigned to work for credit in one of our shops. So they'll spend at least one semester hanging lights or building sets or making costumes or making props for credit. And we expect to hire them as student employees after that to keep working on our productions. As I mentioned, we do not have graduate students. We have professional staff in all of our shops, but they're the supervisors. The folks putting our shows together at almost every level are our undergrad students. We expect them to be hands-on, our production students. We expect them to be hands-on during their time here. We expect them to keep their classes their first priority, but we also expect them to develop enough of time management skills so that they can actually work in our shops while they're taking their classes and do well at both things.
Yeah, that's great. I think some students at my school are concerned with how their parents might take it if they don't exactly approve of their interest in technical theater or production and design. So I was wondering, do you have any advice to share if maybe their support system is not as strong, but they want to pursue this career?
Is this advice for the students or for the parents?
I would say maybe for the students to possibly bring up as an argument for their parents.
All right. Look, I'm a parent. All right. Our job as parents is to worry. So they will worry and they should worry because that's what they should do because they care about you guys. Having said that, and understanding full well that a career in the arts is an intimidating thing for a parent to say, yes, you go do that and go wait tables, essentially, while you get a job. In production, in technical production and in design, the skills that you acquire as a theater production person be they in high school or in college or volunteering at your local theater or working at your local theater, are skills that easily translate to other disciplines, particularly other disciplines in the live entertainment industry. When it comes to design and technical production, I've used the word theater throughout this whole conversation because that's my field. But all of this stuff applies to live entertainment in general. And when I say live entertainment, that covers everything from community theater to the Olympics, all right? And that runs the gamut, you know, your local mega church that does a huge service on Sunday, that's theater. That is live entertainment. They have stagehands. They have people programming a light board. Performances on cruises require this skill set. Theme parks use theater designers for, you know, for their events, for their rides. The Super Bowl halftime show, any concert you've gone to, the folks designing the machinery for the current Taylor Swift show, those are folks with a theater background. So yes, it's intimidating, but at least in terms of design and technical production, there is a huge industry out there with jobs at every level. Jobs for those of us who like theater and want to do live theater and want to do, you know, small straight plays for 200 people, to those people who want to design huge hydraulic machines that are going to make Taylor Swift slide under a stage 100 feet so that she can pop up on the other side of the stage. We went through the same training. The opportunities in technical theater and in design are there to have a solid career, to make a decent living, and to essentially have nothing to do with a struggling, you know, starving artist stereotype that we all hate so much.
So basically, to condense that as an answer, it's more of being honest about what you want to pursue and making sure that you are determined to work hard for that.
Look, yes, essentially. Going back to the only requirement that you have to get into the University of Miami as a technical student, I mean, the first thing we're going to look at is your passion and your willingness to do this work. Yep.
Yeah. So that was a lot of information. I'm really glad we got to take this because I feel like a lot of students aren't sure of what they want to get into exactly. And since the arts is such a big realm, I think that production design prepares you for a lot in and out of the arts. So I don't think I have any other questions. Are there any last words you would like to say?
If you guys, if this is what you want to do, even if you think this is what you want to do, the preparation in theater is worth a lot. All right, the preparation in theater, it's very similar to engineering in a lot of ways, at least in technical theater. We have to be creative folks. We have to work under ridiculous deadlines. One thing I tell my students is, I don't know who came up with the show must go on. They're idiots, but you know, it is what we live by. We have to work under pressure. We have to deliver on time. We have to deliver under budget. And that's a skill that is fantastic in theater, and it's extremely useful in real life. So arts training is important. Arts training is not only about the career, but about a way of thinking that is immensely valuable in the world. And I think I'm running off the tracks a little bit here, but if you think this is something you want to do, if you think you have the drive, the passion to do theater, stick with it. It's the reward is there. It is worth it, or at least it's been worth it for me.
Well, thank you very much. I think that Sounds good for me. Yeah, thank you for taking the time to come onto this podcast and share your experience and your advice with my students. I think my student body would really appreciate, be grateful for what you shared with us today. So thank you very much.
And if anyone's interested in the University of Miami, please get in touch. I will answer any and all emails.
Yes, definitely. All right. Well, thank you again. Have a good day.
Thank you. Have a good one.